Hey guys, and welcome back for another content of Ragnarok M Classic. And in this video, we are going to discuss all the class's master skills, but this time it is the upcoming Master Skill 2. The descriptions and videos are already out, so we will try to understand how this master skill works. But before we start, I just want to let you know that these are just my opinion based on the descriptions. I will try to explain why I put them on that list. This may change once the Master Skill 2 is released because it is much preferable to experience it firsthand. That is why my tier list now is a new meta with a question mark that indicates a very high potential to be a meta master skill. Somewhat broken, has potential, optional, and the last one is not worthy. Also, I will just leave all the descriptions on the screen so you can just read it. So without further ado, let's start with the usual, the Swordsman class. First, we have the Rune Knight's Master Skill 2, the Celestial Dragon Aura. It has 45-second cooldown with a 30-second duration skill. Again, a long cooldown skill with a long downtime of 15 seconds. Because let's put on a scenario where you used it and then your character died after 2 to 3 seconds. The priest revived you, so what happens to your master skill? Gone, right? And you will now wait for another 40 seconds just to use it. It's very inefficient and has a major disadvantage when compared to other master skill, which I will talk about later. So let's go back to their skills. It summons a colossal dragon to roar that deals 4 times of your dragon breath damage. This is such a strong burst considering DB is already a strong skill. Then for 30 seconds, the damage of both of your DBs are increased by 30%, which is nice. And then the third passive skill is a great combo for this build since you will release a twin dragon breath attack for every 2 seconds that is in range of your aura. You can see this white circle here, that is the Celestial Dragon Aura. In my opinion, it's a really strong master skill for DB type RK, and this skill will easily clear Oracle runs. Also great for GVG where there are multiple enemies, but be careful not to die quickly because the cooldown is quite long. So for me, the Celestial Dragon Aura has a potential. Next is the Royal Guard's Ultimate Sacrifice. It has a 30-second cooldown when max and 8-second channeling duration. As you see here on the GIF, the RG forms a barrier which all the party members inside the circle will be protected by the Royal Guard. It works like a devotion on a multiple target, so RG will take all the damage instead of his party members. But that's overwhelming, right? You observe all the damage taken of your 5 party members. The RG is gonna die quickly. Well, their first passive is quite handful, because if the RG is entering near death status for the first time, it immediately restores a 100% of your HP and SP. And also, look at this third passive skill. Allies within the Ultimate Sacrifice range gains 50% damage reduction. 50%! And also, if the Royal Guard dies during the Ultimate Sacrifice, the allies in that area become invincible for 3 seconds. That's the last will buff, I guess. It's really great for tank Royal Guards out there, and I know that you've been waiting for this. In my opinion, this is an emergency skill that needs perfect timing, so for me, the Ultimate Sacrifice is somewhat broken. Next, we go to the Warlock's Crimson Demon Arrow. I always say this on every comment about the MS2 that I would easily skip this master skill, and still I would put them on the not worthy. Okay, hear me out. This might be a strong master skill and only has a 7-second cooldown with only a 1.5 second cast delay. If you read the description, it doesn't have any special effect. It's a pure damage multiplier, but good thing it has a slow effect here on the second passive. Then on the third passive, it creates a massive fire pillar which you can see here that deals damage every 0.3 second, and the Warlock gains a shield which absorbs damage if near the Blazing Fortress, which is a good addition. Now you can combo this skill along with a Meteor Storm and Flame Dash, which you can deal a very high amount of fire damage. That is right, another fire damage skill which is easily countered by Fire Immune Alloy, Fire or Water Monster, or any fire damage resistance stats. That is why I always say that if you want to save Zenny on what to invest with these 2 master skill, just invest on the Master Skill 1, because it has a unique element, the Ghost. You already have a strong fire element skill, the Meteor Storm. Why add another fire element skill? You will just lessen your option for elemental counters. If the element of this skill is a water, wind, or earth, my opinion would be different. But unfortunately, it's another fire damage, so not worthy for F2P to invest in. Just go for the Master Skill 1 now. Next is the Sorcerer's Venom Swamp. I believe this master skill is for caster type sorcs, but auto attackers can also use this if they want to. It only has 5-second cooldown, which is nice, and can also be casted above Earthfield. So first, I just want to say that it's another gimmick skill for the Sorcerer, because why would a mage have a poison skill? It should be exclusive to the thief classes, but anyways, it's good to have, especially when doing oracle runs, now that you have a strong AoE skill along with a mental blast. I might not go over with this because it's just another poison mechanism that we already know. This skill is kind of boring, but I know it has a potential. Now let's go for the Ranger's Abyssal Blind Trap. So from the word itself, it's a trap skill which not most of Rangers are building it. Because you see, to make this skill effective in damage, you need a higher magic attack, and your gear sets are very much different from the usual ADL build. It has a good amount of damage formula and also inflicts blind to those victims. But here is just my opinion. I think ADL Rangers can still benefit from this master skill. Traps are really nice to have, especially in large scale PvP. And with the addition of the Abyssal Blind Trap, it's gonna give you more advantage when doing defense on your castle. And what I really like most about this is their second passive skill, which grants them stealth and has a 30% final damage reduction within the range of the Abyssal Trap. And you see the note here, the stealth is not removed when attacking. So this is most likely same as the Shadow Chasers, but the difference here is the Rangers are mostly gonna use the normal attacks. And when you normal attack when invisible, you will see the arrow projectile. Unlike the Shadow Chasers' triangle shot, you cannot see on where they are placed. Still, it's a good defensive skill for Rangers and has a potential. Next, we go to the Performer's Dissonant Brand. Marks an enemy target, and if the target is hit by any physical damage from the caster, it deals another instance of Dissonant Brand. Mind you that this skill is only 1 second cooldown. You can mark so many targets and the duration is 60 seconds. Imagine that. Just want to compare this to the Marker of Waves of Ranger. Anyways, and not only that, it has a very useful passive skill that each time Dissonant Brand triggers, it reduces the target's P damage and M damage reduction, P def percent, and M def percent by up to 30%. That's huge! Really helpful for brave instances like Thanatos Tower, Lost Isle, and Ponape that have very high defenses. The other two passive skills are really good too. I've placed their first master skill on the second tier, and I might also place their second master skill on the somewhat broken. Next is the Archbishop's Exorcism Storm. It has 10-second cooldown and a 5-meter radius AoE skill. This is the upgraded Magnus Exorcismus, but the good part here is it can deal damage to any races now, including the players. And look at this first passive skill. If the enemy's armor is not a holy property, meaning this is 90% of all the players because Angeling cards are hard to obtain and not most of us are using it. It increases the damage of Exorcism Storm by another 30% and has a 50% chance to inflict the silence for 5 seconds. And then the second passive skill reduces the interval of damage. Then the last passive skill also heals allies within the range and additionally casts Exorcism Storm on that area where the user casts. So that means you can deal double amount of damage if you go near with the Exorcism Storm, which is really good. So with this, I think the Exorcism Storm has a potential.
Lapakgaming is the most affordable top-up site that has a guaranteed safe transaction with a 10 times money back guarantee. They have a lot of games that you can top up discounted prices here like Mobile Legends, Ragnarok Origin, and of course the Ragnarok M Classic. For example is this Kafralog that costs only 1,573 pesos in the Lapakgaming, while if you are buying it in-game, it may cost around 1,796. That's a more than 200 peso discount. Then from here, enter your character UID that is located on your in-game profile, and they have a special discount of up to 1,500 pesos on Ragnarok M Classic. Just type ROMCL1GHT on the promo code, click the use promo to get your special discount, and then complete the payment process by clicking the buy now. That's easy, and you will get the product that you have purchased instantly after the payment is complete. So what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description and on the comment section, then top up now. Thanks for listening and let's get back to the video.
Next is the Shura's Supreme Conviction. It's a buff skill where you can select one of these attributes: the P damage increase and P damage reduction by 20%, increase HP and SP by 30%, or reduce skill cooldown and skill delay by 20%. for 120 seconds, and it can stack up to 3 layers of the effect of each additional layers by 40% of the base effect. So for example, the Steadfast Conviction that gives 20% P damage and P damage reduction. If you cast the buff 3 times more, you will get a total of 44% P damage and P damage reduction. That's huge actually. And you can see this second passive skill, the Mindforged Body. After using the skill Supreme Conviction, gains the damage reduction effect of the Steel Body for 4 seconds. The Steel Body's final damage reduction is already 85%, and pairing it with a Steadfast Conviction P damage reduction would make your Shura an unstoppable force. And I think this makes the Shura get overpowered. That is why you see the duration is lessened. And the third passive skill is for the Asura Strike improvement, so I would not get into it. And for me, I think the Supreme Conviction will be a new meta. Next, we go to the mechanics Triple Laser. Fires a triple laser beam to the target, dealing physical damage that can critically strike. Has 3.5 second cooldown. The skill itself is quite underwhelming, but you need the passive skills to back it up. Like the first passive skill that adds another laser beam for every 40 points of your agility. And also it increases your physical damage and M damage to evasion by 4%. And then the last passive skill, Mech Overdrive, transforms your auto attack into Laser Blast that hits up to 2 nearby enemies separately, dealing 75% of its original damage, but reduces your attack speed by 50%. In my opinion, this might be better than the first master skill as it has a better features like the physical and magic evasion, movement speed and resistance to crowd controls, and I think the active skill is good for bursting down enemies, so it's much better overall, and I think it's somewhat broken. Then we have the Genetics Corrosive Zone. It has 8 second cooldown and throws Corrosive Zone in that area targeted. The damage is 60% of your improved acid demonstration, and it can break enemies' weapon and armor, which is good for a utility. But the bad thing here is it cannot bypass the earth field, so you might position your skill carefully. It's not much to see on their passive skills, it's just an increase of gear sabotage, increased damage of corresponding element, and damage over time. So for me, the Genetic Master skill is optional. And then we go to the Guillotine Cross Divine Impact. From 3 second cooldown now to 5 second. And you can see here from the 600% skill multiplier, cut it from half, and now it deals only 300% for rotation counter. And I think the maximum rotation counter is 10. I'm not sure, but I just assume it's 10. We can see here that it was nerfed from the ground, but they added an inherited effect of the Acer Monument to improve the damage of the Divine Impact. The passive skill helps the GX to gain rotation counters, and the last one is really good for bursting down the target because you will deal 50% more damage to the enemy that is affected by your poison cast, and you can also lifesteal 10% of the user's max HP. So the playstyle of this Divine Impact GX is to refill the rotation counters, and once you got the full rotation, you will dash to the enemies and then use the Divine Impact to burst the players in that area, then after that hide again and repeat the process. If this GX played right, this master skill will be deadly, and I think this is somewhat broken. Then lastly, we have the Shadow Chaser's Abyssal Graveyard. This is somewhat an interesting master skill. It has 5.5 second cooldown. Summons an abyss from the ground, dealing neutral damage for every 0.5 second. The damage is calculated by P attack and magic attack and lasts for 5 seconds. So we can see here that it is already a good skill multiplier because it has both P attack and magic attack in the formula. Then from the first passive skill, it increases your own M damage increase, ignore M def, and M pen by 80% of your own P damage increase, ignore P def, and physical pen when you are only equipped with a dagger. So this master skill tells us to use the dagger as the main weapon, but it doesn't restrict the Shadow Chaser to use the bow. The bad thing though is this master skill heavily relies on the magic attack. It will improve your damage by a lot. Just look at this second passive skill. If a copied skill is a magic damage, the auto shadow trigger chance is increased by another 10%. And the last passive, Falling Abyss, when dealing damage with auto attacks or Abyssal Graveyard, there is a 10% chance to summon a giant meteor dealing magic damage of your P attack plus M attack times 5000%. That is huge. I might say this would be the next meta. Why? Because it might work like the previous mana trap of the Eternal Love that is so overpowered. They have different skill types, but you might also play like that one. Just hide and place the Abyssal Graveyards to the enemies. Note that once you hide, you will get a 30% P damage because of the Shadow Chase, and it might be converted to M damage when you are equipped with a dagger. which then strengthens your damage, but we need a confirmation from here. So I think the Shadow Chaser will be a meta again with the dagger type, and we might see new playstyle when Master Skill 2 comes out. Are you guys excited to play your class with a new Master Skill? Let me know in the comments. If you find this video helpful, then please leave a like. Also subscribe to support my channel. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe and have an awesome day. Lights out.